Greetings, old school magic players, and welcome to the Four Horsemen. Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to another tournament final for your favorite old school format, the Four Horsemen. My name is Brianweissman. I am joined today digitally by none other than the Chadster, one of the pioneers of the format, and his lieutenant, John Ekleberry. We're going to be bringing you a steady commentary about some matches that actually played out between early July and late August in what is essentially the 22nd tournament ever contested in this still emergent format. It is now 3.5 years old, and it's gone from being kind of a very fringe thing to becoming very mainstream. There are pockets of people playing Four Horsemen now all over the world. It was actually contested live at a sort of neutral ground meeting area somewhere between the border of, I believe, Alabama and Tennessee, where Chad and Tim Kincaid contested the finals, Tournament 22 of Four Horsemen. So let's see what happens, shall we? Let's fire up these decks. Let's find out and go to the games. The tournament finals, the grand finals of Tournament 22, Four Horsemen Summer League. Let's get to it. All right, so we've got Chad on the right. We have Tim on the left. Chad, I don't know if Chad is playing first or not. It looks like you might still just be pile shuffling. So as you're pile shuffling here, Chad, what are you thinking? What's going through your head? Assuming you're going first, what is the best draw that your deck can have against what Tim is using against you?
Turn one Curd Ape or turn one Scavenger Folk with a Taiga or a Pendlehaven.
After that? What's the dream draw?
What is the dream draw? I think turn two, I want Chain Lightning or my one of Sylvan Library so that I can either get rid of his creatures so I can get in for an attack. Also, there's two of Force Spikes in my deck. So a Force Spike early is not too shabby because that allows me to Force Spike whatever things that Tim thinks he can sneak in with tight land. And then, of course, turn three, I want a Serendib Efreet, and turn four, I want an Urnum Djinn.
That definitely sounds about right. So the 7 would be Taiga, Volcanic Island, Curd Ape, Sylvan Library, Force Spike, Serendib Efreet, probably maybe one more land on the top, something like that.
I only need 3 lands.
Yeah.
Until I'm getting Urnum.
All right, there's the handshake. All right, let's kick it off. No one has drawn any cards yet, so I have no idea who's actually going first.
Well, first we have to drink the obligatory beer sip.
Okay. That's true. Beer and old school, they do go together, don't they?
Well, alcohol in general.
Yeah.
And props to Tim with his Four Horsemen shirt.
Yeah, I know he's the only guy. Well, actually, there were 2 Four Horsemen shirts at that gathering, right? And you were the odd man out.
I'm the odd man out. the dumbass that made the format forgot to wear his Four Horsemen shirt.
All right, so you guys are still chatting?
No, we are. We're talking here about. Tim is telling me what he thinks the result of the match is going to be, and I'm encouraging him to not be pessimistic. So he rolled a 1.
Yep. And that certainly favors you. Why are you pausing? Oh, there we go. Wait, we missed it. Wait, did you both roll 1? What happened there?
He rolled a 1, I rolled a 5.
Okay.
So I'll be on. Now, what's interesting here is I did, unbeknownst to Tim, I did a bunch of practice games with, shout out to my Australian bro, Jack Clegg. I did like 15 practice games. Oh, there's my hand. Should we
Wait a minute. Pause.
Oh. Hold on.
You both have awesome hands. It's funny, actually, that hand that we talked about, that hypothetical hand, I think you got at least 4 of the 7, maybe even 5.
Yeah.
And you did mention Chain Lightning, so it's actually 5 out of 7.
Right.
And you have an Urnam in there too, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Volcanic Taiga, Curd Ape. I mean, honestly, pretty perfect. And a Force Spike. Definitely favors you, I think, although John's hand looks excellent as well. It's got all the... Oh, you even have the Sylvan. Filthy. No, you don't have Curd Ape. You have Falling Star instead. But turn 2 Sylvan, backed up with the Force Spike, is pretty damn good.
This was like my dream opening hand. The only thing that's missing here is Taiga Curd Ape or Taiga or Pendlehaven Scavenger.
Yeah, and even though this is an old school format, it still follows modern rules. So mulligans are resolved the same way. The London mulligan, I believe, is what it's called. And of course, the play draw rule is in effect, although back then it wasn't.
Right.
All right, let's fire it off.
And if you watch here carefully, let me see if I can snap Tim's hand. All right.
Yeah, he's got very, very good draw as well. Great mana, land tax, land's edge, and a Serendib on 3.
Serendib, land tax, Winds of Change, Plateau, Plains, 2 Tundras. Yeah, he's got a baller opening hand.
Totally.
Now, right. Brian, one of the things that I discovered in my practice matches with Jack Clegg, and unbeknownst to Tim, I did many practice games thanks to your advice earlier in many of the Four Horsemen turns. I elected for Tim to go first because he's playing Land's Edge, tax edge, right? I want the draw.
Except that you're first to discard if this happens, unfortunately. Yeah, generally as a rule, against land tax decks, I always go first. Because you actually want your hand size to be smaller. If they go land tax on turn 1, you want that extra turn where you don't have to play something before you discard. If you go second, what do you do on turn 2? Because he just gets a free pass.
I wanted to draw, Brian. That was my main. Draw is king in Four Horsemen. Draw and enchantments and life gain.
So now that hand without the turn 1 Curd Ape is so much more painful, right?
Yes.
If you can play a turn 1 Curd Ape here off of Taiga.
Yes, it would have been a game over very quickly.
Exactly, yeah. John, I'm curious to know, based on your understanding of Tim's deck, what do you consider his best opener in this match?
Well, he got his turn 1 land tax. That's pretty good.
Outside of that?
No, I'd have to go look at his list again, I guess. So he's both of them kind of want to. It's interesting that they're playing a game where they're not going to want to get to 3 lands, but they both have Serendibs that they want to stick. I mean, obviously Chad will be happy to get to 3 lands, but
yeah, you see right away, Chad just breaks the stalemate. There's no hesitation at all. Chad, you just decided there's no way I can win here. And I'm very curious why you played, the fact that you played 2 lands. The fact that you played 2 lands implies to me that you would want to cast Sylvan Library instead of the Scavenger Folk. So what was the idea behind playing Scavenger Folk over the Sylvan, since you were playing 2 lands anyway?
Looks like Chad stepped away. I'm going to guess that he didn't have the Scavenger Folk in his opening hand, right? So maybe he drew it and then he decided that the pressure was better than...
I totally understand that. Oh, Force Spike on Winds of Change. Pretty sick.
And it allowed him to have that blue up for that Force Spike. So
yeah, it did. I guess just sort of playing the Force Spike and drawing the Scavenger Folk was really fortuitous. I guess he just decided that being able to stop a spell on turn 2 was more important than playing the Sylvan. We will see how that goes.
Slam that Sylvan because it's so good, but
yeah, I would have certainly played it if I was going to play a second land at all. But he does have a tiny little clock in play, assuming that a little 1/1 doesn't show up for a while. And he does have a Chain Lightning to remove a 1/1 if one arrives. Plays a 3rd land. And that's that Urnam in hand, I think, just feeling compelled to play more lands. Chad has no fear whatsoever for land tax. I'm curious about the thought process real quick here, and let's just talk about it briefly while the game is unfolding. There's Sylvan. Chad, why did you just ignore the land tax and decide to just not even try to play that game? Was it just because you don't want to play into his hands?
That's a very good question, Brian. And if Jack Jack Clegg was who's in Australia, part of our Aussie crew. Shout out to the Aussies. We did so many practice matches, and what we found was if I tried to play under the land tax, I lost.
Interesting. Yeah, it's not surprising, right? Because your deck has, like, what do you even do on 1 or 2 lands? It's just like the deck doesn't work. So there are kind of, and I think it's a really just sort of interesting insight, because a lot of people play against land tax all the time, and the assumption is that you're supposed to just wait.
Yes.
You're supposed to wait, let them drop to 7, let them draw their 8th card, and then they land tax, and they go all the way up to 11. And even though they get some cards out of their deck, they wind up discarding 3 lands into the graveyard. That's normally the strategy. You did not go for that.
No.
Because your research indicated that if you tried to play the slower game, you just played right into Tim's hands. So very cool to see that, actually. I'm very glad that the preparation paid off in this way.
Note to everyone, if you want to win against these extremely skilled 4 Horsemen players, you must practice your matches against a practice deck.
Definitely. All right, so it looked like Tim only actually taxed for 1 land there.
Yes.
And he taps out and plays a card. Oh, is that Mana Vortex? No, it's a Serendip.
Serendip Efreet.
And you do not have your spell. Unfortunately, you don't have you don't have the Force Spike for that thing.
I already used the Force Spike.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I mean. You don't have it. I mean, I agree with countering Winds of Change, because it was going to totally wreck you and make him and let him draw 8 or 9 cards or something.
Yes, that I really feel like that was a turning point early in this first match. I think he would have probably gained the advantage if that Winds of Change had resolved.
Yep. All right, so here we go. 3 cards off Sylvan. What's your temptation to draw more than 1?
A lot.
Very high. Are you going to take 8 here? Oh, Boomerang. Interesting.
Boomerang, Remove Soul, and Chain Lightning. I want them all.
Yeah, it seems like it's worthy taking 8 then. That's one big advantage of playing any deck with Sylvan Library against a more controlling strategy, is you can easily take 8, you can take 12, sometimes you can even take 16. And drawing 4 extra cards off of a Sylvan Library is pretty insane.
I take 2 here.
All right, taking 2. I'm curious to know what you put back. Probably, so Chain Lightning, Remove Soul. Wait, is the Boomerang still in your hand?
I left the Boomerang on top and took the Chain and the Remove.
I guess you can attack into the Serendip Efreet and just chain it away if you want to.
Correct.
2 for 1 yourself, but you did, in fact, get an extra card there. It'd be interesting to see if he blocks. Do you think he should block? John, what do you think? Would you block here?
Well, I think he knows he has a trick if he's going to attack into it.
Right. But do you block with the Serendip?
Well, it depends on what else Tim has in his hand. I probably wouldn't, because he can do more damage on the crackback than he's taking.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, he just took 4 from Sylvan. So it's a great attack from the Chadster right there. Reading and knowing that his opponent could not afford to block. Do you have a 4th land? I can't recall.
No.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, because the Urnam coming down would be awesome. You just sling a Chain Lightning at his face.
You're like, well, if I can't hit your Urnam with it, then just forget it. I'll hit your face.
Baller. Takes 1 there. Life totals are currently 16 to 14, even after Chad took 4 damage from the Sylvan. Tim has a huge handful of stuff. Shuffling through his hand, thinking about what to do here. It's funny, right? If he does have a Spirit Link, it just feels awful to put a Spirit Link on a 1/1. And he didn't block last turn, which means that he's very unlikely to use the Serendip for defense on the next turn. And true to form, 3 damage. And no, do you breathe a sigh of relief when he doesn't have a Spirit Link for that?
I was very relieved. If he put Spirit Linked here,
GG, probably.
Yeah, GG, because I did not have the one of my 2 Avoid Fates or Boomerang, but the Boomerang is on the top of my deck.
That is true. Yeah, that would definitely help and blow him out with tempo. You can definitely see with the predominance of one of the top tier removal spells being a creature enchantment, how much better Boomerang actually is because of that.
Boomerang is the shit in 4 Horsemen.
Well, it also it does a lot. It's really flexible. It removes enchantments and stuff too, which was hard to do in this format. And, I don't know. I certainly played 4 boomerangs in my blue deck when I played it, but I was also playing Time Elemental too. I was really leaning into that strategy of being able to trip cards back into their hand.
Yeah, exactly.
And then maybe make them discard them with Amnesia, which is also cool. But that's a whole nother.
I'm a fan. All right, we got a little bit of shakiness with the camera. Hopefully it'll settle here in a second. They're still thinking here. I imagine right now that you can see him thinking about it, that Tim is just thinking, do I play a 4th land here? Is there any value at all?
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't go to 4 mana, it makes it a lot harder for you to catch an Urnam, although I'm sure you would do it anyway, because you can't really get punished. And down comes a 4th mana. It's basically just, it's an open invitation to play an Urnam in case you sat back and didn't do it next turn.
What do you think Tim wants the 4th mana for?
Oh, that is a back-breaking effect right here. How happy are you to have the removed soul?
Woof. Very.
Yeah, the amount of games of Old School that have just ended because of starts like this. Basically, land Mox, land Serendip.
You have the one force spike.
Yeah, next turn Serendip. And
John was onto something there.
Oh no, but no force spike back. That would have been hilarious.
He represented it possibly having a force spike by playing the 4th land.
Yeah,
it's really the only reason to play it.
A stack battle. Yeah, it really makes me wonder why he did play that land, because it does give you the opportunity to just. I think he was. There, we'll have to talk to Tim later. I don't know about the rest of the cards in his hand there.
Well, Tim is on the video here, but he wants to remain mute.
Yeah, see him right there.
I suspect Tim has a force spike in his hand. I actually do suspect it.
Do you think that he would have allowed you to counter his Serendip if he had it?
He does not need that second Serendip.
I definitely would have countered the.
I would have countered that 100%. Anytime you can stop a 2-mana spell for 1, and to say nothing for the tempo. I mean, he connected with the Serendip Efreet right there already, so you don't have an easy answer for it. And 2 of them will kill you almost instantaneously. You get like 1 more draw step. All right, down comes the 4th land. The question is, are you going to be defensive here and try to boomerang, or are you going to slam Urnam and try to just race? Guess we'll find out. Because you are pretty low. You took another 4 right there.
I'm at 9.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's got a full hand. If he draws one of those land's edges, you just die next turn.
That's right.
Thinking. It's one or the other, I imagine. Problem is he's still at 13.
And we're only a 4 life spread difference here.
It's interesting. It just shows you a mountain in hand. Oh, I guess that's what he...
That was from the land tax.
Yeah, he taxed for that.
He was just showing me, hey, by the way, this is what I land taxed for.
Yeah, we can't see the rest of his hand there, unfortunately.
Well, he flashed it earlier.
Yeah, but it's changed a lot in the last, 5 turns or something. Chad's still thinking here, and he says go.
And sips.
All right, down to 12 for Tim. Probably just looking to draw more creatures. Just trying to keep the pressure on here, trying to put you away, or obviously just draw the land's edge to win the game.
That was a lot of deliberation to end up doing nothing, Chad. I'm very curious as to what.
Oh man,
what's going on?
Yeah, there's the boomerang.
Yeah, unfortunately, you got to play it main step instead of end step because you can't afford to take the 3.
Boomerang, baby.
Interesting. He plays Mana Vortex here instead of replaying the Serendip. So this turns the land tax back on. This solves the mystery of why he played a land last turn.
That's
it
right.
Enticed you to play a 4th land. This is the cool thing about this card and why it's so high tech.
What
do you think about the decision, John? What do you think about the decision to play the Mana Vortex with Chad so low in life and desperately boomeranging main step, essentially?
Yeah, I might have just went for the throat, but it's possible that he has a land's edge in his hand, and if he can tax again and drop it, he could just end the game that way.
That's we seem to have descended another 10 years of digital fidelity.
Well, so
I don't know what you call this, like 20p or something.
At this point, the camera went out of focus.
Yeah, the tropical island is literally 2 pixels. Still recognizable somehow, though. All right.
Thank God we all know these cards.
Yeah.
It's just really funny that we have a gazillion matches recorded where people are playing remotely and they're crystal clear, but like when we only have to have one camera and people are in the same room, can't handle it.
It gets better a bit later, guys.
Okay, I hope so. Definitely. I'm not sure what it's focusing on right now. Maybe something in the super, super, super foreground or something. So the background is just totally fuzzy. Anyway, Chad's going to have to sack a land during upkeep, but that's good because you've got land on top of your deck since you took 4 last turn and 2 fresh cards, I believe. Oh my God, it got even worse. At a certain point, I will not be able to recognize the cards. Okay, now.
Oh, there we go.
All right, away goes the plateau.
There we go. There we go. Crystal clear.
Seriously. We're up to early 21st century. All right, so when Island goes away.
I'm surprised he thought about getting rid of the plateau because he's going to want double red at some point.
Yeah, he definitely needs double red. He doesn't want to have to play another land.
Tim is explaining to me Mana Vortex here.
All right.
He's like, you know this shit card that nobody plays? Let me show you how it works.
Let me show you how it's fucking baller in Four Horsemen.
Yeah, it's just, if there's no Armageddon in the format, it does a very unique thing.
I've really been wanting to see someone try to build a successful Mana Vortex deck, and it's funny that it actually happened finally.
Yep. So, Chad looking at the top of the deck again. We've got a Void, Fate, and Curdape, and 3 lands. You guys are tied, but unfortunately, because of the trigger timing, I believe you can resolve stack land tax, then stack Mana Vortex. Vortex resolves, eats a land, and then you get all 3 from your deck. I'm not sure why. Oh, that's right. The Serendip Freed is being revealed because of the boomerang. So it seems to me that the correct play here right now, Chad, is hit for 1 and just slam Urnam. And now your opponent's going to try to fight an Urnam Djinn, and he's stuck on 3 land, which is a really awkward position.
Right.
Because he, short of Bloodlust Tundra Wolf, right, there aren't really a lot of ways to take it down. And he's already down to 12. And I believe you have a Chain Lightning in your hand still, too. Bonk, down to 11. Oh, go with the Curdape plan. So, in retrospect, Chad, do you think that this was a correct play? Do you have a reason to keep 2 blue up?
I'm trying to fake Tim that I have Mana Drain and remove Soul.
He did not land tax.
He did not.
What on earth?
So if I had a Mana Drain there, I could have Mana Drained that chain. That's what I was trying to fake.
Yeah, I understand, but you don't even have to worry if you just slam an Urnam Djinn. You don't have to Mana Drain anything.
I couldn't slam Urnam Djinn because of Vortex sacrificing my lands.
You didn't play a land that turn.
Oh, correct.
Don't you have a land in your hand or one? I know that there were 2 on top of the deck.
You're right. I have land in my hand, and I'm just going to concede to lose all my lands.
Yeah, now you definitely can't play an Urnam. Imagine if there's an Urnam Djinn in play right here.
Yeah, but I don't have Urnam in my hand.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
I wish I could see. Yeah, I wish we could see.
Didn't you have one in your opening hand, though?
I swear you had one in your opening hand.
Do I?
I don't know.
I think what my strategy was is I just assumed, okay, I'm going to concede all of my lands here. I have Sylvan Library. I have lands in hand. Fine. Fuck his Mana Vortex. It's going to destroy all of our lands. I will hold lands, play my cards. No, there's no Urnam there.
Wait, go back.
Oh.
It was like 2 falling stars and some chain.
Is that a Void Fate, maybe?
I do not think I have an Urnam in my hand. Otherwise, none of these moves make sense.
You didn't when you flashed it just now.
That's right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, as long as John confirmed that.
My strategy right now is I think I'm going to lose game 1, and I think I'm just going to sack all my lands, and I'm going to just try to play lands after Vortex eats everything. And I'm just going to go to game 2 and sideboard and win, and game 3 and sideboard and win. That's my strategy right now.
That sounds like a good strategy. So he's played a Felwar Stone. Now here's a question. Do you continue the beats or do you kill the Felwar Stone?
Oh, I'm going to kill that fucking Felwar Stone. You better bet your life.
Good to know. Will Tim play another land? Certainly thinking about it. I don't see any reason other than the fact that he may want the vortex to die now.
Nobody's playing lands until that vortex is gone.
What a strange card.
I mean, it's a very spicy card.
Totally.
It's one of those cards that makes Four Horsemen so interesting and unique and different. And here it is in a finals match with a land tax, Land's Edge, Mana Vortex deck. Hats off to Tim. Like, there's nothing more creative than this.
Yep, down comes an island. So he wants the Mana Vortex to stick around a little longer, it looks like.
Oh, shit. He does. Wow.
Just to keep the screws on you. Felwarstone does change things a lot, but fortunately you do have that Scavenger Folk.
I love Scavenger Folk. Love them. So at this point, I'm thinking I have lost game one.
Why are you thinking that?
Because Tim has like 5 or 6 cards in his hand, and I have no answers. And in all my test and practice games with Jack Clegg, we played like so many games. I lost game one like 90% of the time.
Wow.
So I just assumed going in, I'm going to lose game one, and I'm not going to worry about it.
So I imagine Tim's finally going to play his Serendib again next turn.
Yeah, he's been holding it for a long time, right?
And you've you've got Falling Stars and you've got Chain Lightnings, but none of that kills Serendib.
Yeah, nothing kills the Serendib. And you're going to be down to too few mana anyway. So that's certainly the reason why you play that third land, because it does guarantee that he can play the Serendib next turn. He's
been so patient. Tim, hats off to Tim. Tim is such a strategic. He's a chess player playing Magic, right? He has not played this Serendib because he has had better options every turn.
Lots of conversation, it looks like here. And I believe you saw a boomerang on top of your deck. So if he plays Serendib again, it's likely to be bounced. Did you give any thought whatsoever to bouncing the Vortex or bouncing?
I did. Yes, I did. I've got double blue there, but I'm going to lose one of these lands next turn. I did think about bouncing the Vortex, and I'm just debating. I'm like, that's why I look at my fingers and my hand gestures. Like I'm so debated.
Those lands are very painful to lose, and if you bounce the Mana Vortex, it does buy you quite some time. He has to sack another land in order to get it out.
I think Sylvan Library is a huge differentiator in this particular scenario.
Restricted cards are going to do good things for you usually.
Yes.
Lots of table talk.
Yes, table talk, me deliberating, painful deliberations. But, to Tim's credit, we don't hear the audio here, but Tim did a lot of posturing, like you were talking about, Brian, in our pre-game prep. Tim did some very, let's just say, professional Magic posturing. He was doing things to make me think differently than what was in his hand throughout the entire game.
That's good. Did you think about bouncing one of his lands maybe with Boomerang?
I did think about that. I thought about bouncing the Vortex. I thought about bouncing his lands. I thought about destroying the Felwar. And that's why there's so much deliberation and pause here.
Curious to see what you ultimately decided to do.
I'm probably going to pass turn.
Interesting. I'm not sure what I would do. I think I would probably bounce a land at the end of the turn.
Yeah, I was really thinking about it, but I was just like, God damn it, this situation is very hard. I'm in a predicament. I'm at 9 life. He's at 10 life.
I agree. Basically, he needs to answer the Scavenger Folk, and if all the lands go away, it's harder to do that. I guess he does have a lot of 1-drops, but you could draw a Pendelhaven and start just punching through afterward.
If I got a Pendelhaven, that would really make the difference here.
Let's see what happens. Still waiting.
There's 4 Pendlehavens in my deck, so the probability of top decking a Pendlehaven is not too shabby.
Yeah, particularly with Sylvan in play. Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry.
So I don't see Boomerang on top of your library, so it definitely has not been played yet. Or on top of your graveyard. Still thinking.
He plays it in the second here.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see. There's 3 viable targets, I think. The Vortex, the Felwarstone, or the Island. If you had a bit more pressure, it would be so much more effective. But unfortunately, just the 1/1. Chipping away. All right, here comes Boomerang.
Oh, so he boomeranged one of his own lands to his hand.
I boomeranged my own land. Think
Well,
about that.
Well, that was not on my radar as a play. Can you explain why you decided to do that, Chad?
That's what I chose to do. I don't know how to explain it.
Was this an example of just trying to get a little cute or something?
Well, what I'm thinking is the Vortex is going to eat all the land, so I want land, and I don't have land, so I want my land back in my hand, and that eats his lands faster than my lands.
But then you played a land on your turn anyway, so that you
you played the most precious land of all, and now there's a Serendib out.
Not good.
Not good.
That was a play error.
I would agree. It's interesting. It's one of those situations where you can just think yourself into a corner. You know, you get too caught up in the idea of protecting your own lands that you forget.
Now look at this. I chain lightning him to the face.
Yeah, I saw that. You might as well.
And then I'm pretty sure you have another chain lightning in your hand too. So I don't know. This is going to be funny if it can come down to the wire in his own.
It is. Just there's so many cards you have to fade here. You have to fade. Where did the other Felwarstone go? Is that the thing?
I suddenly feel like you're going to win this game, Chad.
Yeah, baby.
Not necessarily. You need more than 1 chain lightning, because next turn, if you chain lightning him, he drops down to 2, and then you die on the following turn. So you need 2 chain lightnings to win. And also, he could draw Spirit Link or chain lightning of his own.
That's true.
This sort of looks like Urnam Armageddon situation, only you're completely out of permanence. All right, here we go. Down to 5. Sacks of land. Bloodlust. And dead. Woof.
You really played that up, Chad. You really played that up like something was going to happen.
Yeah, well, thank you for the suspense. I was just trying to think of like how on earth you get out of this. But yeah, you sort of thought yourself into a corner. So we're going to game 2. Well, let's just let it go fast. Chad, I'm going to guess what you would sideboard here, looking at your deck. And I'm curious to compare what I would sideboard with what you ultimately did. Okay, so looking at your deck, I think Falling Star probably out. He does have a bunch of little 1/1 weenies, but they're not the main threat. And so Falling Star's got to come out. It's just not going to do anything in the match, because Serendib to me is the 5-alarm fire. And I'm actually interested to know why you did not sideboard any copies of Active Volcano, which is the best answer to Serendib in the format.
I have no excuse, Brian.
Just like, how many times do you have to get killed by this creature to respect it?
I have nothing.
All right. And I would imagine Diamond Valley is not very good in this matchup either, because generally if things go badly, the extra life is not going to help you outside of Sylvan. So I could see those 4 getting cut, bringing in... I mean, honestly, I don't think a Concordant Crossroads is bad against them. Concordant Crossroads allows you to just slam an Urnam and hit for 4 right away. Slam a Serendib and attack. You can just keep steady pressure and just be so fast that he can't keep up. I definitely would bring in the 4 Elves of Deep Shadow for sure. I don't think you need Artifact Blast. Active Volcano or Flash Flood deals with really 1 permanent type that is sort of a finisher anyway. And Avoid Fate, dubious value. So those 4 God, do you really want any of these? Maybe you want 1 or 2 Concordant Crossroads. Is the Void Fate even good? He only runs, I guess it does counter the Spirit Links that are inevitable too, so those probably, at least maybe 1 or 2 of them come in. Can we go back to the other deck, please? Thank you. So I don't really think that Remove Soul is very good in this matchup. It doesn't strike me as being of good value unless you're countering specifically Serendib Efreet. So if you had access to Active Volcanoes, I would have brought those in instead of the Remove Soul, since that's the main threat, at least a couple of them. I don't know how good Recall is either. We didn't talk about the Recall on your list, but I am kind of curious as to why you ran the card. I mean, obviously it has some value, but it's negative card advantage, and you don't have a lot of lands in your deck anyway, so it's very hard to find superfluous lands to throw away to that card, and it's hard to build up a hand, and it's very slow and expensive. So given the fact that your opponent's going to be pinching your mana, I would definitely take out Recall. I'd cut Recall, the Diamond Valley, all 3 of the Falling Stars. That's 5. God, how much do you even care about Mana Drain? Mana Drain's not even very good against him either. Remove Soul, Dubious Value. I'd cut 2 of those. That's 5, 6, 7 cards. Bringing in 100% 4 Elves of Deep Shadow. I would probably bring in the 2 Concordant Crossroads after that. I don't know, it's like 6 to 6. Yeah, something like that. 3, the Diamond Valley, 3 Falling Stars, Recall, and probably 1 Remove Soul, bringing in the 4 Elves of Deep Shadow and 2 Concordant Crossroads, and call it a day. So I'm curious to see what you would do, or what you ultimately did.
Well, I don't want to give away any spoilers.
All right, I guess we'll find out. So hopping over to Tim's deck. Let's take a look here. What cards are going to be effective against you? Well, we already talked about King Suleiman, so that's a no-brainer. And I really do think Force Spike and even potentially Mana Drain are very strong effects against you, as is the Spirit Link. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Assuming he brings in 6. You don't have any Spirit Links yourself, so I don't think that the Miracle Workers are terribly good, and they lose to most of your creatures anyway, particularly if Pendelhaven's in play. So 3 Miracle Workers come out. Probably the Boomerang. There are no artifacts in your deck at all. So the Divine Offerings do nothing. That's easy. That's 6 right there. The rest of the deck seems pretty non-negotiable. And he does need the Bloodlust in order to deal with your big creatures. So I would see something like that swap. 2 Force Spikes. Mana Drain, the Spirit Link, and 2 King Suleiman is probably a pretty good setup based on upgrading the deck in that matchup. John, do you agree with that, or is there anything I've missed?
No, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think that makes about the most sense. You really, with this deck, you can't really take away any of the other cards because there's too many cards in the deck that just support the archetype, including those Mana Vortexes. I mean, Mana Vortex was incredibly powerful. It just broke your back that game. So that's definitely not coming out. And so with that said, let's jump to Game 2, shall we? Game 2 of Season 22 of the Summer League 4 Horsemen Finals. Chad versus Tim. Let's go to Game 2 and see what happens. See a lot of cards on the table. We can probably just warp past that. It really shows you sort of the casual nature of this format, the fact that you're openly shuffling and organizing your deck and practically sideboarding in front of your opponent, which is so different than what you'd see in a lot of old school formats, where everybody is much more sort of clandestine. They take it much more seriously, and they've got merit badges and stuff. A lot of sideboarding here. Are you guys talking about your sideboard decisions during the middle of your finals match?
Yes.
There's casual and then there's casual.
There's casual and there's 4 Horsemen we've been playing together for 3 years.
Oh, it's cool. I mean, it just shows you this is the ethos of the format. If you've played old school formats before, if you've tried to go play Eternal Central, which is definitely the most cutthroat of all the formats because it's the 4-strip format, or if you've played Atlantic or Pacific or Swedish, and you're kind of maybe a little bit fatigued by the fact that there are definitely some tryhards in all of these. There's definitely some tryhards in all of these formats, present company included, and maybe you just want something that's a little bit more casual and fun. 4 Horsemen is probably where you'd like to go, because it doesn't really have any of that like really kind of rip your face off spirit.
Tim wanted to remind us that at this point in the tournament, it is open deck list, so they did know But there's a difference between an open deck list and actually telling the guy what you're going to side.
Exactly. There's no pulling a fast one, right? There's no surprises. All right, let's fast forward a little bit more if we can here.
I picture both of them saying, well, this is what you should bring in against my deck. And, this would be the better way to beat me.
So my question for you, Chad, is now that you know what happened in game one, that you let him play first and a turn one land tax was a massive problem for you. Have you decided that you're going to go first this game, or are you going to go second?
I want the card draw.
You have chosen poorly.
He chose poorly.
You chose poorly. Yeah, you got to go first, man. Got to go first.
Well,
the land tax deck wants to go first 100% of the time. You always want to go first with the tax deck because you get that critical turn where you don't have to develop and they're forced to do the uncomfortable thing. And just by pure probability, most people don't have the discipline to just say go or to discard. A lot of the time, I mean, I know that in your matchup, you've determined that's not a good idea, but there's lots of matchups where you do have to say go because you just don't have any follow-up.
Right.
You're going to just like play land after land with no development at all, letting the guy just tax like crazy. You just lose.
Right.
The tiny aggro player inside me is just crying watching you let him go first 2 games in a row. But it's okay. Well, yeah.
The only reason I did this is because in my game testing with Jack Clegg, when I let Jack go first, he won, and when I went second and got the draw, I won.
How many games did you collect data on for that conclusion?
I don't know, 10 or 12, a lot.
Cool. All right, well, here we go. Looks like a mulligan? Looks like a mulligan. Very, very, very good hand, though, for Tim. He's got 2 land, I believe. I didn't see a Fellwar Stone, but he's got a Serendib Freet, and I think a turn 1 Tundra Wolf also. Wait, what is going on? Okay, so you're mulligan. Let's keep fast forwarding.
Okay, let me skip ahead.
Yeah. Did you notice an exorbitant amount of mulligans over the span of all the matches you played, just because of how few lands you ran?
No, there was not a lot of aggressive mulligan going on. It was just like, there's a bad draw here and there.
Yeah, I was thinking that because the format is, at least to get into top 8, kind of selects for a different kind of result and consistency, because you're just in a normal tournament, you're extremely penalized for losing even 1 game because of mana. But when you're actually rewarded for just playing games at all, it does push you in the direction of playing with a more fragile mana base, assuming that your priority is to make top 8 and not necessarily to win. But you can run well in a small sample size with low lands and then get away with it anyway.
Right.
Over many games, you would lose a sizable chunk of games, probably more than is acceptable because of your mana decision. But if you run a little lucky, little plus EV in the top 8, it could be enough. So down comes turn 1 Tundra Wolf. You will not see a Wrath of a 1/1 instead. What's going on here?
Oh, I just rewound it a little bit.
Okay.
I slowed the speed down. 1.75 is a little too fast, so I put it.
Yeah, let's drop it to 1.5 for now.
Yes, I did.
Just based on the pace of play, that should be more than sufficient. I see why you guys were doing it now. It makes a lot of sense.
We've made a lot of videos, and we just kind of decided that 1.5 was the right speed to still see everything, but cut the length of the videos down. Not that this is going to be a short video, Chad.
Yeah, but it would be, substantially faster as a consequence of going 1.5. All right, turn 1 Tundra Wolf.
Yay.
We're off to the races. Let's see how it goes. Chad, I believe you have a 1 drop as well.
I do have the Scavenger Folk in my opening hand. I flashed my hand. I have a pretty good hand. I had a few.
Yeah, you have good land as well.
Scavenger Folk's pretty bad against Tundra Wolves.
It is very bad unless you have a Pendlehaven.
Well, it's just a break even, right?
Yeah.
I guess if you're trading 1 point of damage.
Yeah, it's not like the Tundra Wolf has a javelin in its hand and it can just sling the javelin and kill your 1/1.
Well, that would require Fallen Empires. We're not that fancy around.
Exactly. Turn 1 Chain Lightning. Interesting play. So what's your thought behind doing that? Basically, you don't want to have to be forced to just sit there taking 1 point of damage every turn?
Yeah, and I don't want that bloodlust scenario haunting me.
Interesting. You chained over playing a creature, right? Over playing the Scavenger Folk?
Yes, I chained instead of playing the Scavenger. Honestly, guys, I think I need to. I think even 175 is a little faster. Let me just.
No, this is fine. It's fine. Keep it at 1.5.
Okay.
Please keep it at 1.5. I think the tempo is pretty good.
Okay.
There'll be points probably where you're thinking a long time that we can speed it up, but I think overall. So if you had gone turn 1 Scavenger Folk, he goes turn 2 Fellwar Stone, you have the option to use the Scavenger Folk to kill the Fellwar Stone and continue to develop at the Curd Ape. Instead, you're now facing down a Serendipity.
And I'm just attacking straight into it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
2 for 1 yourself, no big deal.
Wow. Without even a removal spell to take it down afterwards.
Wait, you did not have a burn spell after?
Just the bravado.
Dad, what are you doing?
I was trying to fake Tim out, and he didn't go for it, and I felt stupid.
I can imagine. You know that you can. You know that if he attacks with. Okay, I'm just going to explain some quick math to you. If you have 3 power and creatures in play, and he has a 3 power creature in play, but his creature hits him for 1 every turn, you're actually winning.
I thought he would think that I had a Chain Lightning, and I would never attack with the Scavenger and the Curd. And I thought he would just.
The problem is you send in a Curd Ape. It's too tempting. If you send in a Curd Ape, it's too good.
He decided to just.
Yeah, if you would attack with just the Scavenger Folk, he might have taken it. But when you attack with a 2/3, it's ridiculous for him to just take the damage.
You're right, and that was a play error. And I thought he would not block, but he did, and I fucked up.
All right, so you attempted here to destroy the Fellwar Stone.
It was dumb. Really bad play error on my part.
You must be feeling really good after game 1 and then doing that.
Yeah.
Wow, I drove 3 hours to do this.
Right.
And Tim did not play a land last turn either, and you've got 4 in play, which means that he does not have more land in play at all. This game would have been so different. I mean, obviously it's going to go on for a long time anyway, but if you had played turn 1 Scavenger Folk instead of Chain Lightning his Tundra Wolf, this whole game is so different.
You're right. And here I am looking at his deck.
Yeah, you beat the shit out of him. You have a Curd Ape hitting him, and he's only got 2 lands in play, and one of them is the City of Brass.
Yes.
And you can ramp all the way up to Urnam Jin and just be like, deal with this or die.
Major fuck up. Fuck up. I told you earlier, Brian, I am not a good Magic player.
But it's always a learning experience, right?
It is.
Making mistakes is uncomfortable, and it makes you a better player.
True.
Next time you'll feel something painful when you're about to do the same thing.
And you will not repeat that mistake again.
Man, maybe a couple times.
Unless you're a man, and then you'll repeat it a lot.
All right. Did we see a life? Did you? I didn't. Yeah, he needs to adjust his life totals, I think. Did Tim take a point of damage there during upkeep?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I missed it. Down comes another Curd Ape.
The all-powerful
14, yep.
Ape.
Life total is currently tied, actually. 14 to 14.
Yes.
So now you can see Tim looks a little uncomfortable. You can see him considering not attacking at this point.
Yeah. He's
because
going into defense mode here.
Yeah, he's in a really bad spot because he only has 2 land. And if you were to play an Urnam Jin here and he doesn't have the Spirit Link for it, the game would be over very quickly.
And one of his lands
it
is
also
City of
sucks when
Brass.
you only have 2 land and one of them is a City of Brass.
Yeah, that does not make it easier.
Ouch. Yeah, I'm benefiting from destroying that Fellwar Stone with the Scavengers, and he's got a city, and he's taking damage. So
so he passes the turn back. How bad do you want a Boomerang right now? Boomerang would probably just be GG, despite the start, because he would be so far behind in tempo. Curd Ape would be hitting for 2. He would have to recast it, assuming he would draw a 3rd land off of the City of Brass. Imagine if you had Pyrotechnics right now, how wonderful that would be. You'd just be like, kill your Serendib, take 2.
Right. And notice I'm just like, I give no fucks about land tax. I'm playing a 5th land here. I don't give any fucks.
Oh, well, at this point, yeah, you're so far ahead, it wouldn't even matter. So Urnam comes down. Now the pressure is all on Tim. Tim needs to draw mana here, or he needs to draw a Spirit Link. And he does have it, at least. And you've got a Void Fate, and there's this... Oh, my God!
He played the Void Fate before I showed the... he played this Force Spike before I even showed the Void Fate.
A stack battle. How cool. in 4 Horsemen.
That was a big moment. There was
the jankiest cards ever. The Spirit Link's not that janky, but the Spirit Link, Force Spike, Avoid Fate, all in one stack.
Brian, in that moment, we were all hooting and hollering, and everyone in this bar was looking over and wondering what we're doing.
I bet. All right, so Urnam Jin, Spirit Link, not really doing anything for you. You play down an Elves of Deep Shadow, so those are certainly in the deck now, but slowly but surely, this Serendib is just plinking away. I'm actually kind of surprised to see that Tim did not go for Spirit Link on his own Serendib and just beating down for 3. That would definitely outrace your Kurdabe. He's showing his exasperation, the fact that he has no lands in hand.
No lands. No lands.
Just a bunch of mana vortexes.
Not doing good. Now, and now he's really just got to be on defense here. I really wonder if he had just thrown, because the thing is, he's got all these 1/1s that can just act as chump blockers against the Urnam. I might have just gone for Spirit Link on Serendib and just said, deal with this. 3/3/3. It's really, really hard to race it. 6-point life swing every turn is really hard to race, even if you have a 4/5 in play.
Right. He should have put that Spirit Link on his own dib, not on my Urnam.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing, too, is that it also shuts off the getting pinged for 1 every turn. You recover that also. So it's actually 4 points you heal every turn, not 3.
Correct.
And now it's too late. But you can't attack either, so we're just kind of in a bit of a stalemate. Man, if you had Pyrotechnics.
Yes.
Remind me again why you didn't play that card?
Because I'm a bad Magic player, I told you.
Okay. For future reference, probably better in your deck than Recall. If you're going to spend 5 mana, you're much more likely to benefit from the 4 damage than you are from regrowing 2 random cards that are all kind of...
I should have...
But it is an interesting observation that somehow we've gravitated away from it, because we did see a ton of that card early on in the format, and for whatever reason, I think one of the reasons is that for some, also on the flip side of the coin, no one was playing Falling Star for a really long time, even though it's like pretty powerful. And then people kind of got hip to Falling Star, and maybe they cut some of the Pyrotechnics for that. I don't know. But it is interesting that we don't see that card as much as we used to. It'll probably come back around, though.
Because when I played in that tournament 4 or 3 or whatever it was, I was terrified of Pyrotechnics. It was capable of 2-for-1ing me. It could kill all of my creatures. If I have a Spirit Link Serendib of Freet, and you can't really counter it if you don't happen to have the mana drain in your hand. Plus, if I had something like Old Man of the Sea and one of my Preachers in play, it's getting 2-for-1 also, which is just devastating. And it's reach. They draw 2 Pyrotechnics and you're like at 8, you just die. All right, so more creatures on the board. This Serendib just continues to plink away. Tim just needs to draw land. The blanks continue. Very, very frustrating for him, I'm sure, at this point.
It's kind of incredible to go that many turns without...
I was definitely the beneficiary of Mana Screw on Tim. Let's be honest.
100%, yeah, definitely. There's no question. I was wondering why you guys were chatting about Bloodlust earlier. He showed you a Bloodlust in his hand. Another Avoid Fate drawn, but you're still unable to attack. It just doesn't make any sense to go through the brick wall, but you're winning anyway. And he's down to just 9. Eventually, you'll be able to just attack, lose 1 guy in the process, and still deal 4. Are you thinking about attacking right now?
I am.
So what do you think is the urgency of attacking right now? What are you considering?
I'm thinking he might not block with that Serendib because he might think that I have a chain, and I'm just like, should I attack into him and lose a dude, or should I be patient? It's a question of patience versus aggro.
You should be patient, but if you only attacked with the 2 elves, he might like...
Oh, wow, Ivory Tower, yeah. I think that if you... What a rip that is. How insane. I think that if you sent in your 3 guys, I think he would block the Kurdabe so fast that you would be turning it sideways when the Serendib would already be in front of it.
But I had no chain lightning in hand. I was trying to...
At that point, it doesn't matter, right? Like, he's going to 100% block no matter what. Taking a Kurdabe off the board, getting a Chain Lightning out of your hand, and stopping this thing from killing him is such a huge win that the block would be automatic.
Yes.
But Ivory Tower comes down now, and I imagine, given that he discarded last turn, that Tim has 7 cards in hand. That is
Very,
timely.
you see that red dice and the white dice there above the ivory tower? That's his 7 hand count.
Makes sense. It's going to be a really, really tough battle now. So the question is, I didn't include them in the sideboard suggestion, but did you bring in Artifact Blast against them?
I think I brought in 1.
Mana Drain on Ivory Tower, though. Is that a high 5?
Mana Drain on Ivory Tower.
No, that card does not work. It's way, way worse than Pyroblast.
I don't want no Ivory Tower.
Yeah, no, it doesn't allow you to interact with the stack. It doesn't do anything.
I will expend my 1 of restricted Mana Drain to counter your Ivory Tower bullshit.
The best use for Mana Drain in your whole deck, I think, right now.
Yes.
All right. Draw a card. I don't know how many cards Chad has in hand. I guess it's 3 or 4.
I have 3. You see the dice on the top of my cards there is 3.
And the waiting continues.
Well, who's it on here? Whose turn is it?
It's your turn. It's your turn right now. I'm sure you're just kind of... I mean, Tim doesn't... His land is still tapped from playing the Ivory Tower. And I'm sure he doesn't have
I'm looking up his deck photo here.
So what are you considering right now here, Chad? I don't know what's in your hand.
I'm trying to decide whether to attack or not.
Gotcha.
And I elect to pass. The Spirit Link on the Urnum has wrecked my entire game. If he did not have that Spirit Link, or if I had a Void Fate to counter it, this game would be over.
Tim draws, and he finds... Is that Maze of Ith?
Maze of Ith.
Now that changes the math a lot. God, if the Spirit Link had gone on Serendib, this game would have been really interesting.
Yes. Instead, it's kind of like...
Yeah, because you had a Void Fate to stop it, but he still had that. The same turn it came down, he had this Force Spike also to force it through.
Right.
Maze of Ith. Now he's got to think, do I start attacking here? He can trade 3 for 3, but he's way behind in life, and he doesn't know if you've got Chain Lightning. So it seems like even with Maze of Ith, he can't attack here.
Right.
He needs at least 1 more impediment first, so that he only takes 1 or 2 a turn.
That's right.
What if he attacks and then he mazes his own creature after combat damage?
I don't think that the timing allows you to do that.
It does.
Really? So you can just keep you can basically give the guy Vigilance and still deal 3?
Yeah.
Weird.
And my Urnum's Spirit Link, so that's actually a very good move.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to put you on a clock. You can't just wait forever here.
And he's at 7. I'm at 14.
Bleed away. I know, but he can give his Serendib Vigilance using the Maze of Ith.
Effectively, yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was weird too, but it's come up before, and we've used it in other matches.
Yeah, I guess there's time after damage is dealt while the attack step is still going. In order to do it, there's that final window. All right, another Elf of Deep Shadow comes down. Now attacking next turn should be worthwhile.
Yes.
Because he can block the crit. He still takes 4 damage. Yeah, he's still dead in 2 turns. And you have the Pendelhaven also. But it is complicated by the Maze of Ith. It definitely makes it worse for you.
It sure does. The Maze of Ith is a powerhouse card. This is why like every deck needs to run at least 1 Fisher, you know? Strip Mine's not enough.
What if they're not playing with red?
Well, then you have to run Crumble, and you have to run something that can get rid of creatures and lands and fish.
Brawling with Urnam. And are you attacking with Urnam here because of the rules around Urnam Jin?
It's the rules against life gain. So the Spirit Link life gain does not happen until end of phase.
So he can block you here. He can block the Urnam with the 3/4, which kills it and gains him 4 life, and then maze the Kurdabe.
He blocks the Kurdabe and mazes it. It mazes the Serendib. I think.
Yeah, it's an interesting play. It could have taken the Serendib off the board while gaining 4 life at the same time to get way, way, way higher in life total. He still has to solve the other creatures, but it's an interesting kind of variant on... Because the Serendip is just bleeding him out right now. He kind of wants it to die. Almost.
He wants it to die. Correct.
There's so many creatures. I think in that situation, I might have blocked the Urnon.
Yeah, you can argue that. So he mazes that elf. I Pendlehaven, the Pendlehaven elf, and the Urnum just kind of negates out. He only takes 1 damage, and he blocks the Curt Ape. I lose my Curt Ape.
Yeah, you can force him to use Maze of Ith first, because otherwise he takes more damage. So using Pendlehaven before he uses Maze of Ith is a mistake also.
I think he flashed 2 Serendip Efreets in his hand.
Interesting. And he takes another point of damage, drip, bleeding all the way down to 4. This is getting very, very close to over.
Between the City of Brass and the Serendip Efreet.
Yeah, exactly. It's too far behind this. He really needed to have the Serendip die there.
Yeah, and my army is building.
I hope you do not attack with the Urnon this turn. You did.
He does. Why?
Because I'm a bad Magic player. I've told you guys this.
But he mazes the Urnon.
He's at 4 life. He can't.
No, you block the Urnon. You gain 4 life from the block.
It's game over,
and
right?
Then you maze one of the other creatures, and you survive. You're still at quite a bit of life, actually.
No, he was at 4 life, and I hit him for more than 4 damage. So
he gains 4 life from the Urnamjin, and the other ones don't. He has a Maze of Ith, so he does not die there. No. I mean, I don't know how much it fundamentally matters because of what could be on top of the deck. But let's say he assumes he draws running Chain Lightning or something to kill off the 1/1s. Either way, game 2 is in the books. Chad prevails, and we go to the third match. We go to the third game of the match with both combatants tied 1 apiece. Chad, are you going to change your deck at all going into the third game?
Well, if I remember correctly, obviously I want the Elves of Deep Shadow in. I want the Avoid Fates in. I think I want 1 Artifact Blast, mainly for the Ivory Tower, so I can save my Scavengers for attackers. The real question in my sideboard is, do I sideboard the Concordance in or not?
Yep, they're pretty good.
That is the question.
They're pretty good against this deck, honestly. All right, and just like that, it is now 1 game apiece. Tim and Chad tied in the final match of Tournament 22 of the Summer League for 4 Horsemen. John, what a game, man. What do you think? That was, I don't know, it was very suspenseful. It really felt like Tim had an incredible hand, and then kind of everything just fell apart. Was there a particular turning point in the game, or was it just kind of a steady bleed out?
Yeah, I think the latter. I mean, one of the things that we like about this format is that there does seem to be some elasticity in the games. Somebody can come from behind and come back and grind it out. It's not determined just a few turns in.
Yeah, I would say that was pretty accurate. And it was really interesting that Tim ramped his way straight to 3 mana, and then he never really saw another mana source pretty much the rest of the game until the very, very final turn of the game, I believe, was when he finally got back up to 3 mana after Chad killed his singular Felwar Stone with a Scavenger Folk. And he was discarding to hand size. Chad's draw wasn't even particularly good, but it was just a matter of overwhelming pressure in the face of Tim having only 2 land, which is a bit ironic given that he's running so many mana sources alongside 4 land taxes, and he didn't draw any land taxes. He didn't draw much land at all. I do recall one really pivotal moment in the game, though, that I think could have really marked a turning point, and that was when Tim elected to play a Spirit Link on Chad's Urnamjin, which had just been cast, versus playing it on his own Serendip, which would have mitigated not only the 1 point of damage every turn from the Serendip itself, but also would have created a 3-point life drain effect against a deck that does not have Pyrotechnics or Spirit Link itself. Do you think that might have affected the outcome of the game?
Oh, absolutely. It seems like a huge misplay.
Yeah, surprising, right? I mean, Tim is a stalwart of not just 4 Horsemen, but apparently pretty much all of the, I guess, the niche old school formats, including the singleton formats and stuff. I guess he's kind of had a spate of dominance over most of the space, so very uncharacteristic for him to make a mistake like that.
For sure.
Yeah,
So
Tim has been crushing it in X points, in 7-point singleton, even in some of the Swedish tournaments. He's placing in the higher brackets. Tim Kincaid is on a tear in Old School right now.
that seems to be the case. And he's here again all the way in the finals after dominating the Swiss rounds in terms of at least win percentage. So going into the final game, assuming that you're playing first and you're Tim, are you going to change your sideboard at all, John? Is there anything you think that he'll be looking at in the sideboard that he may not have considered before?
Flip to his opponent's deck real quick for me, Chad. All right, and then back to Tim's.
Back to Tim.
No, you know, I don't know. He already probably brought in everything that he's gonna want in Game 3.
It is really interesting.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's very interesting that despite the fact that he got beat up that game by a bunch of 1/1s basically, and he's got 4 Tundra Wolves in his deck, which has got to be pretty frustrating. He only, I think, has drawn a single Miracle Worker out of his 7 white 1-drops, and that was only in the first game. That last game, he drew no 1-drops at all, not land tax, and no Wolves or Miracle Workers either. So I don't know if that means that he doesn't have them in the deck. If he sideboarded any of the creatures out, do you think that there's any chance that he would have taken any of those 1/1s out?
If he did, I would certainly put him back in at this opportunity.
Yeah.
And I feel like given that he didn't get any at all and he needed them, he'll even want that 8th one out of the board.
Yeah, I was looking at that 8th Miracle Worker. I wonder if that'll come in. From Chad's side going second, I don't imagine that anything is really different. Do you think that Chad might run Artifact Blast? He did have to mana drain an Ivory Tower.
Well, he will, because Chad loves running Artifact Blasts. So
I sure do.
he will run it.
I love that card, gentlemen. I love Artifact Blast. It's a red counterspell, and there's so many powerful artifacts in full.
There are, but not in Tim's deck. He only has one good artifact in his whole deck. Only one artifact that can actually really change the game in a demonstrable way. Felwar Stone is good, but it's not game defining. Whereas a turn 1 Ivory Tower not dealt with could easily just win on the spot if you get any kind of slow draw. It'll net him 15 life, and it'll also, more importantly, force you to overextend with your creature deck and walk right into the land tax trap, as well as the mana vortex trap. So with that said, let's go over to Game 3. Tied at 1 game apiece, Tim versus Chad in the grand finals of Tournament 22 for Horsemen Summer League. Let's kick it off. Perfect sound. All right, so I imagine here that Tim will be going first. Both players surveying their hands right here. And it's the land tax deck. You really just want to draw land tax. That's kind of the only priority. There are some backup 1-drops. You can see the hand right there. It looks to me like 3 Taigas. No blue mana, which is interesting. Unless I misread the hand. Let's see if we get a look. I think I see a plateau on the far left side of Tim's hand. And maybe another plane, so I think he's fine on land. That is one disadvantage of Chad's mana base. The fact that he is so dependent on his scarce lands, and particularly green mana, in order to enable the drops of the Elves of Deep Shadow. Or, sorry, not of the Elves of Deep Shadow. I guess you brought those in. To enable the turn 1 playing of Elves of Deep Shadow, that you have to keep a hand with green mana, even if it means you don't have blue.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't afford to mulligan with this deck. It just doesn't have enough land in general, and it's got double blue spells. Oh, and he is mulliganing. All right. That is not going to be good for Chad's chances. What do you think of the decision to do that? I saw a hand that looked pretty playable, honestly. A good number of green spells and 3 Taigas.
Yeah, he probably would have been okay with that hand. I don't know. Maybe just wants something a little bit more aggressive.
Speaking of hands, we see Plateau, King Suleiman, Land's Edge, Mana Drain, some other blue card that might be Mana Vortex.
I think that's Mazebeth.
I think it's the... You think it's Mazebeth? Oh, yeah, in the middle is Mazebeth.
Mazebeth in the middle and another Plateau. So a bunch of... I don't see any blue mana producers, which is problematic for at least multiple blue cards.
I think that might be a transmute artifact towards the end of the hand there.
That could very well be true, actually. Wait, does he have transmute artifact in his? No, there's no chance that it is because he's not playing that card.
Oh, because he's not running it.
Yeah.
But double plateau here, Maze of Ith. The Maze of Ith turn 1 is very tempting.
Well, I mean, I would probably just play plateau.
Yeah,
It is Mana Vortex. That other
is
card.
it? Yeah, it must be.
So this, honestly, I would be very tempted to mulligan this hand. Particularly, it's interesting though because mulligans are meant to be resolved at the same time. So he's already declared that he's keeping his hand because Chad is announcing that he's mulliganing. If I were Tim, I would definitely have mulliganed that hand. I don't think that hand's good at all. It doesn't have land tax. What does it have? King Suleiman and a bunch of uncastable blue cards. If your opponent goes ape, you're probably just dead unless you develop and get lucky with what comes afterward. And the King Suleiman's not any guarantee against a Serendip anyway because of Chad having Chain Lightning.
Right.
I think that was a really sketchy keep, honestly. Very, very loose. What do you think? So, what do you think, John?
I think you're right, but in this instance, he is lucky enough to have an opponent that's mulling at least twice. So
Chad mulligan the second time?
Yeah, so he'll have a little bit of grace, I guess.
Race to the bottom. That's unfortunate. I didn't see the second mulligan there. But this is the problem with the amount of mana that Chad is running. I know he's a big fan of Boomerang, but he drew, I guess
there's a clear ape and a bunch of lands.
Yeah.
And a Falling Star.
Those boomerangs, 4 boomerangs in a deck without a ton of actual blue sources, doesn't have Birds of Paradise. I count 11 blue sources in the deck and 4 copies of Boomerang. Generally in a deck with 4 double blue spells, you need like 14 to 15 blue mana producers to cast those spells reliably, particularly early, which is when Boomerang matters, just like Counterspell. Chad also has the Mana Drain too, and the 4 Remove Soul. So we'll see. It looks like they are going to be kicking it off. Is Chad first? I haven't seen him resolve the mulligan. He's probably just deciding what to throw back. Without any question, it's 1 land. Do you think that Falling Star should also go back? He hasn't seen really any creatures, but he's got to know that Tim has a fair amount of them in the deck, and Falling Star could definitely kill a lot of 1/1s.
Yeah, for sure. I hold on to it. I mean, he drew a whole bunch of lands. He can certainly ship one to the bottom.
At least 1, yeah. I don't remember if he's mulliganing once or twice. That only looks like 1 card to me, so I think that was a single mulligan.
Yeah, our usually we have the playback on faster, but actually it was just at regular speed.
No, it's at 1.5, guys.
No, you changed it after that when you came back.
Yes.
Anyway.
Speaking of mulligans,
sorry.
Looks like Tim did the right thing. Okay, good. That was not a keep. I'm relieved because it seems like they could have easily had a non-game.
And Brian, if I remember correctly, in all of the matches, because I did a ton of practice games with several of the Aussie guys who helped me practice.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell Tim until this third game that I had been practicing. I probably played about 15 to 20 games and various different sideboarding options and strategies. And ultimately what I figured out was I have to let Tim go first in every game. And I must have a 1/1 first drop Pendlehaven or a Taiga Curdape in my opening hand. It could be a Scavenger Folk, and it could be an Elves of Deep Shadows sideboarded in. So
Yeah, it makes sense.
mulligan anything that doesn't have that.
Totally, yeah. Because you need to be able to basically just have 1 land and not be forced to play extra mana.
His Miracle Workers and his Tundra Wolves are effectively useless when I have 4 Pendlehavens.
They're definitely a lot worse. It looks like Tim is resolving his mulligan. I can't see anything around the glare. 1 plane. That looks like Ivory Tower, 2 land. This is a way better draw. Yeah, I can see this. If he can draw 1 source of blue mana, he is off to the races. He's got King Suleiman. He even has a mana curve here. 2 Serendipity too.
And Ivory Tower opening hand.
Yeah, John, what do you think? Throw away one of the Serendips or go for just hope to get lucky and get the beatdown plan?
What's the last card right next to the other Serendip on the other end?
King Suleiman and Ivory Tower. Ivory Tower is on the other side.
Ivory Tower. Okay.
Yeah. I guess Ivory Tower could go away potentially because he's mulliganing and he's on the play, I believe. which would make.
I would try to curve into the beatdown here with this hand.
I think so too. I think I throw away Ivory Tower. He has a wait. Okay.
He bottomed the Serendib.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a little. It's a little sketch, particularly if he's going first, because Ivory Tower is just going to do. Starts with 6, plays down to 5, plays Ivory Tower. It means he has to skip multiple turns, and he doesn't have land tax. Although maybe he just puts the Ivory Tower out and hoping to juice it up later. But I think I would have gone with the much more resilient Serendib plan over holding onto the Ivory Tower. I think that that's a mistake. The deck is not going to function unless he draws blue mana. You kind of have to assume that you're going to draw blue. And that means that if he were to just draw into a blue dual land or just a blue basic, he goes turn 1, 1/1 with first strike, turn 2 King Suleiman to blunt the opposing Serendibs, and then you go turn 3 Serendib, turn 4 Serendib. Good luck dealing with that blue.
Yeah, good game, right?
Yeah, good game, right? There's no beating that with blue, red, green. Assuming, and that's under one big caveat, that you draw an island. If you don't draw an island, your hand is worse, but you're kind of screwed either way if you don't draw an island, since you have no blue and you've got a Serendib trapped in your hand. So you kind of got to just assume you're going to draw blue. Chad opens though. Okay, so that makes the decision to keep Ivory Tower a little bit more sensible. I didn't realize that. Chad, didn't you say that you let your opponent play first every time?
I thought I did, but apparently.
Well, I guess maybe he chose to play second.
Yeah, yes, because he lost game 2, so he elected for me to go first so he can get the draw.
Says an interesting thing about a format when the correct decision is to go second with either deck. Plains Tower. All right, so he's got 5 cards in hand, and you do not have a turn 1 Elves of Deep Shadow. It'll be interesting to see if Tim just rolls past the next turn. Chad draws Diamond Valley. Did you keep that in the deck, Chad, just because of your ability to survive a Land's Edge barrage longer? I would have imagined you'd take Diamond Valley out against this deck.
That's an interesting question, Brian. Like I said, I'll go back to the practice games, and hats off to Jack Clegg for doing so many practice games with me. What I discovered in practicing was the Urnum Djinns and even the Curd Apes and even the ones that become 2/3s. If I can gain life, and knowing that Tim has Spirit Links, the Diamond Valley gives me an out to all Spirit Links, and it gains me 5 life for every Urnum and 3 life for every Curd Ape, etc. And that allows me to survive the Land's Edge.
Okay, that's good to know. So it looks like Chad passes back, doesn't play a second land, basically forcing Tim if he wants to develop further, he's going to have to step out in front of land tax. It may make sense for Tim to just pass the turn here, and he does exactly that. What do you think about that decision, John?
Yeah, I don't know. He's letting the hand build up, but it's not going to outrun the Curd Apes, especially if he plays another one. So I thought Chad had a second Curd Ape in his hand, but he must not.
Yeah, I did not see that.
He didn't play it.
No, it definitely outruns Curd Ape. He's back to 19 already. Now he's up to, I think this is 8 cards, and there's blue mana. So it'd be interesting to see how this game would have played out had it gone the other direction. If he keeps the Serendib instead, he would have gone Wolf. Although I imagine Chad would have played land himself, but he would have gone Wolf, King Suleiman, land, Serendib, land, and attack. Play another Serendib.
I'd much rather be on the beatdown than sitting there behind the Ivory Tower, but that maybe is just me.
Yeah, we'll see. Back to 19. Ivory Tower is so powerful in this matchup. So lucky to draw that turn 1. He just plays out a Wolf, electing not to play a Serendib Efreet. So he's really just going to milk this Ivory Tower for all it's worth. In comes
and we've seen over and over again, you can ban cards and you can restrict cards, but if you don't ban them, they still have games that they swing.
Yep, they do. Remember how your format had Library of Alexandria in it at the beginning?
Ridiculous.
Totally ridiculous. No counterplay at all. I mean, other than, I guess you had, did you have unrestricted strip mine at the beginning too?
Yes, yeah. So at least it was a 4 strip.
I guess there was that, but still, you still just get library games, and there's no comeback cards. There's no way to like wheel or twist or balance your way back into a game if someone libraried you to death.
Agreed.
You basically just lose.
So this is a pivotal moment. I top decked a Mishra's Factory, which is also restricted in 4 Horsemen.
Yeah, that makes sense. So still riding the Ivory Tower and probably just waiting to draw land tax or Fel Wars. Question is Chad, does he have a Serendib? I guess not. So
I'm not running Serendib.
What's that?
Well, wait a minute. Let me go back and look at my deck.
You have 4 copies
Oh
of
my
Serendib.
god. Okay, sorry. I'm getting my tournaments mixed up. It's been a while since we played this game. Yes, I have 4 dibs, and I don't have one here clearly.
So it looks like Tim has drawn a Bloodlust to go with his Tundra Wolf, so he can kill the Curd Ape quite easily, or even an attacking Mishra's Factory. Although I saw that Chad had an Urnam in his hand, so it's unlikely he would attack with a Factory. Yeah, he's got plenty of land. And keeping that Avoid Fate card on tap as well.
I love that card. Same thing with Artifact Blast. Green counterspells. I fucking love it.
Yeah, it's an unusual effect, but it can definitely do unexpected things. So interesting. You have the ability. Pause the action right there. I believe does. Oh wait, no. Void Fate doesn't counter a targeted ability, right? It only deals with spells.
Yeah, it's either a spell or enchantment.
An instant or
Aura.
an enchantment that targets a permanent that you control can be
Yeah.
1 green.
It's so interesting. So it would not counter a strip mine. That would be cool if it could. It certainly seems like it would be a fair use of that. And it's interesting that he strip mined right away. I think the reason is because with 3 mana in play and no apparent defense in hand against an Urnam besides a Bloodlust on a Wolf, that Tim just elected to hope that you did not have additional lands in your hand, so that he could keep an Urnam off his back a little bit longer, because investing a strip mine, as you know, is a huge cost. It's a unique effect in the whole deck. Once you strip mine, you generally don't have an opportunity to do it ever again. And it's funny, this Wolf is actually allowed Tim to pull ahead of an attacking Curd Ape. Life totals are 19 to 18. Chad has enough mana now to play an Urnam, and I expect he will. You're going to tap out to do it? Not. Or are you going to wait a turn? Are you going to wait a turn to do the
Factory? So
Void Fate on a Spirit Link?
Brian, he stripped my Factory, so I can't play the Urnam.
I think we're back to the next turn.
Oh, if I get a land drop here, land Urnam. Got it.
Yeah, you have an island in your hand. I see it. And I believe this is the turn after the strip mine. So, or 2 turns after the strip. Yeah, look.
There it is.
4th land. So my question is, do you play the Urnam and risk it getting Spirit Linked, or do you wait a turn? Okay, now Scavenger Folk comes down. Looking pretty good over here.
Another card that I love in 4 Horsemen. Scavenger Folk are the shit in 4 Horsemen.
It's very good. Now you do not want to draw Artifact Blast, probably, since the main threatening artifact is already on the table.
I don't think I sideboarded them in for the reasons you said.
Makes sense. 20 life. All of that ape work, and now we're on turn. What is this, 6 or something?
Well, at least you're keeping them even, you know.
I know.
Don't
Ivory Tower is so nuts. It was once unrestricted in this format. All right, so now Tim has hit 3 mana. He could begin to ram Serendib of Freets out here with his life total still at 20, sending in a 1/1.
Ouch.
Chain Lightning to protect the Ivory Tower. Very interesting. And that's right. Avoid Fate doesn't prevent that, right? Because it only blocks instants and enchantments.
Correct.
Yeah, and
weren't you just flexing about
the only time it's better than a lightning bolt?
Green counter spells about how great they are.
It's there for Spirit Link, Brian.
I understand. Well, we're about to see if that's going to happen. I imagine Urnam's coming out right now, since you would not be leaving your mana untapped to do Remove Soul or any of that stuff. Remove Soul is just always minus EV against Tim's deck.
What's kept me in the game was my first turn Taiga Curd Ape. If I didn't have that, he'd be at like 30 life.
Pretty close to it, yeah. That is true. The game still feels very, very unresolved here. I think it fundamentally is going to come down to whether or not Tim has a Spirit Link in his hand, and if he's had the discipline to not Spirit Link the Curd Ape and to just let the Ivory Tower take care of it. What are you even considering here, Chad, other than just playing Urnam Jin? Is there a reason why you wouldn't play it?
I just remember feeling this sinking, sick feeling in my stomach. Tim crushed me game 1, and I got lucky in game 2 because he got mana screwed. He would have won game 2 if it were not for his mana screw with the City of Brass, and very, very, very few lands. So I'm not feeling confident at all right now in this match.
Well, let's see if you at least find your way to a 4-mana 4/5.
The other thing is that
No!
the other
You did nothing? Oh, man.
Chad does nothing. So the other thing that was going on here, gentlemen, was, I know how good of a player Tim is, and Tim is a gentleman, and he's a fucking awesome guy, but he is cutthroat competitive. Do not be deceived by his genteel demeanor. Tim is...
I got to stop you. Chad. You're talking like someone who loses lots of games of Magic that they shouldn't.
Well, that is me.
This is a phenomenon that I've personally encountered for most of the time that I've played Magic the Gathering, because I brought a reputation with me into every match.
Yes.
Beyond the first few months that I played Magic. And there's just a sizable cross-section of the population that you've kind of already won against as soon as you sit down, because they say things like what you just said. Brian's really cutthroat. He's really skilled. He's intimidating. And so they do things like just pass with all their mana untapped.
Yeah.
Like what you just did. What on earth could he possibly have, or even be representing there, that would force you to do that?
Yeah.
He doesn't even have 2 blue mana untapped. The worst thing that could possibly happen is you walk an Urnam into Mana Drain Mirror Universe.
Well, Brian, you and I once talked about your strategy in the games, and you told me one time, I remember this very clearly, you said, I play Magic assuming the worst in every scenario, and I assume knowing my opponent's deck or what I think is in their deck. At every hand, every turn, every decision, I am assuming
but
the worst thing that can happen.
I got to stop you. What is the worst thing that could possibly happen if you play Urnam Jin?
Well,
what is the perfect hand that he could have to answer the Urnam Jin? Like literally the perfect hand.
Well, let me look back at his deck. This is a great question. So he has 3 Spirit Links main deck, 1 Force Spike. He has 2 Boomerangs, 1 Spirit Link in the board. He also has those 2 King Suleiman, and the King Suleiman will annihilate my Dibs and Jins. So I don't remember this exact moment when I'm thinking, but what I do remember thinking that I was reflecting on a lot of my practice games, and what I found in my practice games was if I played the Urnam or the Dib and I didn't have the Avoid Fate, every fucking time it got Spirit Linked. Every time.
But you have Avoid
But
Fate.
you do have the Avoid Fate.
And I do understand the reservation potentially around the threat of King Suleiman. He does in fact have King Suleiman in his hand, and you can't know that. But the card is literally not in play. And so not playing your 4/5 and just allowing him to essentially have King Suleiman without having it favors him. If you play King Suleiman, you force him to have it. As far as the other bad things that can happen, he could have 2 Spirit Links in his hand, or he could have Spirit Link plus Force Spike. In which case, who gives a shit?
I just remembered.
Urnam is Spirit Link. That's not the end of the world. It's still a 4 damage creature.
I just remembered what my paranoia was. So there's another card in his board that is restricted, and that is the ever powerful Mana Drain. And he also has Boomerangs. And so
you can't say that he had City of Brass tapped from casting Chain Lightning, so that's not one of the considerations. You can't cast Mana Drain for 1 white and 1 blue.
No. Okay, correct. No, he has a Tundra and a City.
He just cast Chain Lightning on your Scavenger Folk. That's why it's in the graveyard on the previous turn.
Right.
He untapped already. He's in the process of untapping right now because you said go. But he did not have 2 blue mana untapped, as far as I know. You're welcome to rewind, but that's my recollection.
Gentlemen, I'm a bad Magic player. That's the answer.
Down comes Sirin to Befreet. You have a removed soul for it, and good you do. That's a very, very big deal right there. It costs him a life point from his City of Brass.
There it is. I knew he was going to play a Dib or something, and I was like, I can always play my Urnam next turn, and I think he's going to play. I don't have a way to deal with the Dib, so I was holding back for the removed soul. That is what's going on here.
Boom! Perfect answer. Great answer. That is a completely logical explanation. Thank you for it.
I didn't remember until now.
Yes.
I love that there is one, and it isn't just that you're a terrible Magic player.
Well, I am a terrible Magic player, but that's beside the point.
I'm glad that worked out right there in your favor, because that was an enormous swing.
Yeah. Because that did would have won in the game, pretty much.
Yeah, and now you have the ability to slam Urnam here as well and protect it. And if he takes another turn playing out a King Suleiman, it gives you an opening to draw a Chain Lightning to kill it, or you at least hit him for 4 more damage. He does also have the Bloodlust, though, for his wolf. So he has a little layer of redundancy to get rid of the Urnam Djinn that way, if necessary. All right, it looks like you're contemplating the same decision again. Will the Urnam come down again, or are you going to wait and keep mana untapped for a possible second surrender? Diamond Valley comes down.
I love that card.
Incidentally, the Diamond Valley does make the Serendib a lot less threatening because of the fact that you can gain so much life off of your guys. You've got 8 life in just 2 creatures.
Now I'm feeling a lot more confident, because now if he Spirit Links anything, it's not a problem. I'll just gain a ton of life and move on. No Pendlehaven for me here, though, and no 1/1. So, I was looking for those elves and scavenger folks and whatnot early in the game.
Well, instead of
a lot of deliberation about what you're going to do.
Yeah, so that's another thing I'll say. I've often made play mistakes by being hasty, and I really tried to take my time, because
boom,
there's the Urnam.
Okay.
Yeah, and I noticed you you almost tapped yourself out on green mana after being that disciplined. I'm glad you were able to switch that.
I'm like, no, I need my Avoid Fate.
Yeah, casual rules. So it looks like Tim began the turn with 5 cards in hand. Drops down to 5 again. Plays King Suleiman.
Brian, in a real tournament, in a real competitive tournament scenario, if you tap your lands, and then you realize you tapped them wrong, and you ask your opponent if you can switch it, what should you say?
Are you playing in a casual tournament in a pub somewhere?
No, you're here to win. Tournament.
Oh, of course. Well, of course you can't take it back. The rules don't allow you to do that.
Thank you.
All right, so King Suleiman comes down. Your worst fear is realized, Chad. Do you have a way to remove it?
Yep. No, I burned my remove stall on that dib, and now Suleiman, and I'm like, oh shit.
Well, you have 4 Chain Lightning. You also have Falling Star, but you have none of those in play, which is very unlucky.
What did I flash there?
I don't recall. It looked like a bunch of green cards to me.
Let's see. I'll try and pause it. I gave Forest Walk to King Suleiman.
Drew another green card. Yep, 3 green cards. Urnam, Scavenger Folk, Avoid Fate, and Falling Star.
My other love.
Good thing you've got Falling Star. Does Falling Star allow you to kill both those creatures since they're standing next to each other?
Yeah.
That's going to be really, 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 really bad for your opponent.
So the game
is... hope he has mana drain. What's that?
The game is turned at this point. So I started off feeling very unconfident, and once I got to a decent mana base, and then the Diamond Valley gave me the solid assurance that anything that's Spirit Linked now, I don't care, because I have Diamond Valley and I'll work around it. So the game is really turned here. And then when I think I drew that Falling Star, and now I'm like,
I think you actually had the Falling Star in your opening hand.
Okay, maybe I had the opening
green card.
But I'm starting to feel confident now in the match for the first.
Right on. All right, well, let's see what happens when the Falling Star inevitably resolves here. And you still have to flip it, right? You name a target?
Oh, yes. Dexterity is a factor. It counts. And if you miss, you miss.
So attacking first would be a terrible mistake. You should totally Falling Star right now. Because if you walk into Bloodlust here, that's going to look really bad. Oh, man. Come on.
Chad, what is happening?
I'm a bad Magic player.
So the question, though, is does Tim effectively make the wrong play here and use the Thunderwolf to take down the Kurde or to take down the Urnam? He does not. So there's no punish, but he does have mana drain. Interesting things on both sides here. So good discipline on Tim's side. Did not bloodlust.
And I tried to Falling Star after my attack, and he countered it.
Yeah. Either way, it has the same ultimate result. And he does take a big hit. He takes 7 damage that turn, but unfortunately now your Ernom is just stranded, sitting out there looking sad.
And you guys know me. I've always got a whiskey or a beer or something. Notice I am not touching that beer at all.
Laser focus.
Yes, sir.
Tim's going to want to try to use that mana since we have mana burn. And,
yeah, we'll see what he can do with it. I don't recall him having anything particularly useful to spend it on.
Now, gentlemen, remember, Tim drove about 2 hours and 45 minutes to meet me in this, what used to be a KKK town in southern Tennessee. And hats off to Travis Smith, who provided the equipment, the arm, the camera. Travis drove 3.5 hours just to be with us for this match.
That's crazy.
I was in Alabama visiting my parents. They have a farm up there along the Tennessee River and the Tennessee border in Florence, Alabama. And, Tim and I were on the Friday of the 4-day weekend, we were scheduled to play our game, and we sat down and we said, hey, let's play the game, blah, blah, blah. And we had our decks ready and I was ready to record. And I said, hey, man, my mom and dad want us to come visit. We're going to drive up. It's a long drive, but they're on the Tennessee River. And I was like, I'm going to be, a few hours away from you. And Tim's like, then Chad, what are we doing? We have to play this game in person.
Yeah, I think I remember that story. Well, I'm glad you guys were able to meet up to cover that. Let's see what happens on this turn. So the question is, does King Suleiman hang around to block potentially, or just immediately take down that Ernom? This game is suddenly looking pretty bad for you unless you draw some removal right away. And down comes land tax, and oh boy, Tim has fewer lands in play than you and Ivory Tower. Suddenly things got really, really ugly. And you don't have any burn in your deck at all. You can't Pyrotechnics him out or something if you get him low.
And here I was just starting to feel confident.
Down comes Mana Vortex as well, just to complicate things further. He's sitting there twiddling one more land. It's kind of just dream scenario all of a sudden. That land tax was a huge rip. What is he finally thinking about? Is this a Spirit Link or a Chain Lightning? Bloodlust. Interesting play here. So he's bloodlusting the wolf in response to the trigger on the Mana Vortex, and intending to attack for 5.
Yeah, so if we remember back to tournament 21, when the Aussies faced off against each other, Jack Clegg versus Lucas Santos. Jack Clegg was on his Kobolds, Edging Kobolds deck, and Lucas was on his Underworld Prison deck. And in that match, Jack made it all the way to the finals, pretty much undefeated, unchallenged. And his whole strategy was, 0 casting cost creatures with Bloodlust or Tundra Wolves with Bloodlust. You get your opponent down to 15 or whatever, 14. And then as soon as Land's Edge comes down, it's game over.
Yep, I remember.
And so Tim's getting me down to 11 life here with that Bloodlust, and now I'm really worried.
I'm not sure specifically what you're worried about unless one of the last cards in his hand is Land's Edge, but...
Yes, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, very reasonable chance. If you fly back to your turn, you're going to have to sack a land.
And the Diamond Valley is, I'm thinking, my salvation here, but now I'm like, oh shit, Mana Vortex is going to eat all my lands. I'm thinking at this point, I'm going to sack every land, and I'm going to sack Diamond Valley last.
I don't know if that's such a hot idea, to be honest.
Well, I remember thinking that.
You do at least gain 5 life back. It does take you up to 16. It's going to put you a little further away from a Land's Edge barrage. But unfortunately, Tim is going to be able to stack his hand up very quickly. He's going to be able to stack his hand up very, very quickly while your lands continue to get sucked up by the enchantment. I would say the chances of surviving here are pretty low. Did you think at all in your sideboarding about running any copies of Active Volcano in order to deal with blue permanents? Because you have a huge vulnerability to Serendib Efreet to begin with.
Yes.
And now you have the secondary issue of not being able to kill Mana Vortex at all. If you had an active volcano, you could get rid of it.
My guess is that your sideboard had active volcanoes in it, and then you were looking at those artifact blasts, and you're like, I really got to play those. And so then you pulled out the active volcanoes, and you slid in the artifact.
3 artifact blasts. Yeah, exactly.
John, you nailed it.
Pivotal.
You nailed it. I was married to the 4 flash floods and the 3, active volcanoes, but a very hot, attractive alternative passed me by, and I couldn't resist the temptation, and I caved to the artifact blast. But the other reason the blasts are in the sideboard is for 1 card and 1 card only, the ever dominant 4 Horsemen robot Triskelion.
Yeah, the Triskelion. But the Triskelion does cost 6 mana, and Workshop is restricted, so not nearly as much of a menace as it used to be, I think. All right, let's follow the action here as the game continues to unfold. 5 lands in play to 3. So you're tapping some mana. Hopefully you've got some removal. A Falling Star here would be amazing.
And I'm holding back. I'm holding back on that star as long as I can.
Well, you don't have one, I don't think. I'd imagine you'd play it right now if you had one. Since
Well-
your other Urnam Gen in your hand is stranded.
You just played one last turn, Chad.
It got countered, but if I remember correctly, I think somewhere along the way here, another
No
one.
spoilers.
Oh, sorry.
Nothing to do here but just attack with an Urnam. Or, wait, I'm sorry, to attack with a Kurde. Take your opponent down to 7. He's going to be able to activate land tax, draw up. He played a Pendelhaven, so not too worried about the land tax situation. I guess this just buys you more time. Are you not attacking?
Definitely should.
I don't know what else is in your hand. I think you might have an Elves of Deep Shadow. Okay, there's 2. That takes Tim down to a precarious 7. And down comes, I believe, Elves. Oh, another Scavenger Folk. Very, very timely right there.
Scavenger
Kill the Ivory Tower before it gets out of control here. Because right now, it's a horrible situation if he's able to get two uses of land tax with the tower in play. So away goes City of Wrath. Land tax up. Probably getting a mountain, and a plains. Would be my guess. Mountain. Oh, an island. And Ivory Tower will trigger, taking him back up to a precious 8 life. God, land tax is so powerful. It's so ridiculous.
Everybody wants us to restrict that card, and in fact, Tim Kincaid's deck is called Land Tax Unrestricted.
Yep, just to make a point.
Mm-hmm.
It is, in my opinion, the last big kind of outlier in terms of power and restriction precedent from other formats that's left in 4 Horsemen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the card puts another potential restriction candidate might be Serendip Ifrit, but I think that there are, as you pointed out before, there are enough natural, simple ways to deal with it in the format that it mitigates. Actually, I guess it doesn't mitigate it, but it makes the card a lot more risky to use than it is in Old School, and that balances it somewhat. Oh, if only you had Pyrotechnics here. Imagine if you had Pyrotechnics. You just blow 2 of those creatures up. Although I guess you wouldn't do it this turn. Do not attack with 1/1. My God, you got to kill Ivory Tower.
Let's take a second to marvel at the fact that we're watching a game of Magic that's being affected by Mana Vortex.
Yeah.
How often do you get to do that?
There's another interesting card in Legends that might be could be another part of this strategy, although you'd have to figure out a way to win the game. But the card
Land
is
Equinox?
Equilibrium, exactly. I don't know if anybody's experimented around with a Land Equilibrium deck, but I think that probably the tools to make it work don't quite exist in the format.
I think Tim has considered it and talked to me about it. I don't think he's actually tried to play it.
Yeah, it may just be one of those cards that it's to win more. It's like if the Mana Vortex does its thing, then you've kind of already won the game. But that's not really what's happening here. All right, Chad is correctly destroying the Ivory Tower. In comes the wolf, or in comes the Curd Ape. And I bet you Tim wishes he had a Bloodlust in his hand right now to kill that Curd Ape. Although you do have a Void Fate. But he could Bloodlust before blockers are declared. You'd have to avoid Fate then. And then he could decide not to block anyway. But I don't like the Bloodlust play at all. I think that was really, really not a good time to use that card. All right, away goes the Ivory Tower. So
yay! Finally.
Yeah, you got to figure out how to deal the last 6 though, and that's not going to be easy unless you can get rid of the King Suleiman. And your lands are going to dry up here soon. I hope at some point you sack the Diamond Valley over your creatures. I mean, over your mana-producing lands. Because you talked to me about how much you like the Diamond Valley. You should not like it to the exclusion of actually having spells.
Being a control player yourself and having witnessed probably many lesser control players, you've probably seen that before where somebody does a good job of restraining themselves for a lot of turns, but eventually they crack. And I think maybe he just wanted to do something when he played the Bloodlust. Like he had that itch. He felt like he hadn't affected the game enough, or he needed to play a card when he should have just held it and passed.
It's a huge mistake because right now he doesn't have any way to deal with the Curd Ape, and he's critically going to be stuck on 2 lands here for a while. Chad can continue to feed the Mana Vortex for at least the next 3 or 4 turns, which means that even if Tim is feeding it, it's going to stay in play, and he's never going to get above 2 mana. And his only interaction, short of Chain Lightning against the Curd Ape, is that Bloodlust that's now sitting in the graveyard.
Yeah.
It'll be very interesting if that proves to be the final kind of pivotal moment. I'd be wondering why he thought that dealing 5 there was important. I get that he wanted to be mana efficient. We're always supposed to be mana efficient, and the fact that he was losing a land made him feel like he wanted to tap out, but he took unnecessary damage to do it also. He took 1 from the City of Brass.
Yeah.
Chad tapping lands. That better not be a Cern to Befreet. Oh, it's just for 3 life. I got you. That's fine. It's like using it as a big healing salve.
Correct.
Game 4. Chad, is your hand full here?
I have dice there. You see, it's 3 on the.
Right, why on earth are you playing a Cern to Befreet into an untapped King Suleiman?
Well, because I'm thinking I have evil, plans for next turn, but I'm also thinking I don't really care because worst case scenario, I gain 4 life if he wants to King Suleiman on it. But notice I'm finally taking a sip of that beer. What do you think that means?
A little bit of relaxation. I think actually a valid reason to do it, though, is that he does kill it, but it takes you all the way back up to 20, and he's going to be able to land tax here. The fact that he went mountain immediately as soon as he taxed, if I were playing against him, I would be saying this guy has Land's Edge in his hand 100%.
I figured he did.
Did not even hesitate, exactly, which means that if he gets up to 8 lands in hand and he plays Land's Edge, you're going to take 16, and you were exactly at 16. So playing that Cern to Befreet right there might have been the difference between winning and losing the game, minus the fact, of course, that Mana Vortex is going to keep him off of 3 land.
That's right.
Brian's saying there's a slim chance that you're an evil genius. Slim.
Yeah. The truth is he's got to pull all the lands out of his deck no matter what anyway, regardless of whether or not he has Land's Edge, because he needs to increase the chances of drawing probably a Spirit Link right now, or Maze of Ith, or some way to hold off the marauding Curd Ape. But I liked how you were thinking you needed to be at 20, even though your opponent could not successfully cast the Land's Edge. That is the one thing about Mana Vortex. You don't get to shut it off.
That's right. And the Diamond Valley is so powerful for that reason.
Yeah, I really, really hope the next land that you sack is Diamond Valley. But we shall see. You need to connect with the Curd Ape. Well, it needs to attack the Spirit Link. There it is, exactly. Marauding Curd Ape is stopped cold. And you did not have your Avoid Fate.
Winds of Change, baby.
The Winds of Change.
You guys bump over the Winds of Change. I love it. That's funny.
Yeah, that's very powerful right now for him. He reshuffles, I think that's 6 cards.
Yes, and 5 of them were lands.
I want to see you just draw straight into 2 Chain Lightning.
Oh, yeah.
That would be so sick. There are 4 left in the deck. Although you would need a second red mana at least for a turn. But he doesn't have a way to gain life right now. And we got very blurry.
Yeah, the camera just went blurry here, and it was a big problem for us.
When you reached across to cut the deck, it refocused, unfortunately. Maybe it'll come back.
Double volcanic. Ugh.
Gross.
Gross. And now that you have no offense, suddenly things switch in the other direction. Chad drops to 18 life. Sacrifices. There's no way you're going to sack Diamond Valley now. I just know it because you like the card too much and you keep talking to me about not worrying about Spirit Link because you have Diamond Valley in play.
Precisely.
Even though that doesn't even make any sense unless it's a surrender free.
It all comes down to those practice games I was telling you about. Like, I just learned so much from practicing.
All right, so it's interesting. You decide not to play any lands.
Oh, merciful. Merciful focus.
Pass the turn back, which means that Tim over here is going to be able to continue to land tax with impunity and sculpt and filter his hand. He's taxing, deciding exactly how many he wants. One single island. Can you imagine if they ever printed a magic card that costs 1 white mana that says draw 12?
They'll probably print that soon.
No, they would never do something like that. I mean, Contract from Below is the best card of the game.
They printed that in like 2017. I'm sure there's a card that's worse than that now.
Yeah, the power creep is out of control.
One of my friends sent me a card the other day that was like a 1/1 for one that did like 5 different things, and I was like, "What am I looking at here?" The text box is just
the like Scragnoth reprint is a good example of that. Like 2 green mana for it's 3/2 haste, hexproof. It's like a miniature questing beast for only 2 mana.
Actually the exact card that Mike sent me that I was trying to think of just now.
No, why is Diamond Valley in play? What are you doing? Stop.
Look at my hand.
Cat Flash is 4 cards. Well,
check out your sweet Force Spike.
Force
Spike. At least the 8 is holding down the fort. This is going to be a long grind, actually. But it's interesting. It looks like you're going to submit to making the... just submit to letting everything die. Mm-hmm. As you said, perhaps the Diamond Valley will be the last to go.
Mm-hmm.
We will mourn its passing.
Yes, we shall.
All right, looks like Tim doing the same thing. He's ready to just let it go away.
Mm-hmm.
So we're falling into the abyss of the vortex. But before it goes away, look at this. The last Taiga is going to birth another Curd Ape. Hello. It'll be a 2/3. Now you definitely sack Diamond Valley, right?
Please.
For the love of God, let it die. It's interesting that Tim has no... I don't believe he really has any basic land left in his deck. He doesn't... For a land tax deck, he actually doesn't run very many. He only runs 8. He has 4 plains, 2 islands, and 2 mountains. And he doesn't... Often this archetype would be played with Scroll Rack. Scroll Rack Tax was a really, really dominant archetype back in the kind of late 1990s. And Boros, by extension of the fact that it ran Land's Edge, Land Tax, and of course the Scroll Rack was one of the most dominant archetypes in the format. But in this format, you have Winds of Change, which is like a very, very, very bad version of Scroll Rack.
Scroll Rack, Land Tax made a comeback in pre-modern for a while there.
Wait, hold on, what just happened? Rewind time. How did you get back to your main step with an untapped? Or maybe Tim is just passing the turn. Okay, so we haven't gotten back to your turn. I was wondering how that volcanic island got in play. What turn are we on here? Okay, so you play your volcanic island. You really, really, really want that Diamond Valley, don't you?
I really, really do.
Jesus.
I mean, truthfully, you're going to be trading 1 land for 2 damage here, so it's not the worst thing. Active Volcano goes to the graveyard. Interesting to see that sideboarded in against you. Or really just the 4 Serendipes.
The Dib Killer.
The Dib Killer.
You said
why did Taiga go away? What is happening here? Do you have another one in your hand?
What? Why'd you sack it over Volcanic Islands?
Or Diamond Valley?
Well, we know he's not going to get rid of the Diamond Valley. I've already conceded that he won't get rid of the Diamond Valley.
That's why he kept the Diamond Valley around. So that when he serves with the 1/1 Curd Ape, into a first striker, he can surprise his opponent by gaining 1 life at instant speed. It's all about being unpredictable. Oh my God, you weren't kidding. No, why are you chump blocking? What is happening? Why are you chump blocking at 19? Are you insane?
Oh Lord! Oh Lord!
Chad, that's a 1-1. All right, Chad takes 2 damage from these white beards.
Well, congratulations. You've made the best 4 Horsemen video of all time.
Oh, this green mana, look, critic. Where'd you go, buddy? Oh, wait, you died to first strike.
Oh, God.
I hope you win. I hope you figure out a way to win this game. I hope you just draw running chain lightning.
I top decked a chain lightning.
Did you get one?
I top decked a chain lightning right there, and I flashed it to the camera.
Oh shit!
Yes, right. now I taste blood.
Just got real. Well, you got him down to 6, and that was the goal. Right, you only needed to get him to 6. You don't need to worry about killing your opponent, because if you get him to 6, eventually you'll draw the 2 chain lightning and you'll win the game.
What am I thinking right now, Brian?
Chain lightning to the face, I imagine. I think you're probably contemplating whether or not you want to chain lightning King Suleiman and then try to play some of the Arabian Nights, Jinns, and Afrits in your hand. But that would be the wrong play, probably. It's probably correct to just chain lightning face here, based on just pure probability.
Face for sure.
He's got Spirit Links. He's got active Volcanoes. You already saw him discard an active Volcano. Chances are he's got another one in hand, which means that Serendip is DOA.
And I'm at 15, and he's at 6.
Double chain lightning. I mean, I see you raising your hands up. You got to be thinking, well, what does he have? Instant speed, life gain?
Look at me, pensive. I'm so pensive.
You're so worried. You're thinking, what could he possibly have that could counter it? Well, we know that Mana Drain is the one counter spell in his entire deck, and it costs 2 blue mana.
Now I'm going to his graveyard.
Yep. And he only has 1 source of blue mana untapped, and that's a City Brass.
Nothing can stop you, Chad.
You don't have to worry about Force Spike either.
That's not true. If he attacks in Bloodlust and plays on land and then Land's Edge, I lose.
Yeah. Or you could just win right now. What? Do you have 2 chain lightning in hand?
He must not. He must only have 1.
All right, good.
I hope he top decks 1, though. I really want this to happen.
Remove soul.
Remove soul, baby.
Every time you hold up your mana, it was.
I remove the soul of the king.
Life totals currently 5 to 13. You got a lot of time. Boomerang drawn. Not bad.
You're just gonna let him City of Brass himself a couple of times and get him with 1 chain lightning.
Yeah, pretty much.
You might be
remarkable. You have not drawn a single chain lightning, at least you've not cast one. I guess you did say you have 1 in hand.
Now I'm going through my graveyard.
Yeah, that's reasonable to do. Seems to have most of the dual lands in your deck in the graveyard already.
You're doing some like Charlie math right here, where you're just trying to like figure out exactly what you're gonna draw next turn. And... oh boy,
is this a game or what, gentlemen?
It is a game. I'm on the edge of my seat.
So was I.
Chain lightning to the face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good time to play it too when your opponent can't redirect it to you. So I'm very glad you had that discipline.
I waited for that moment.
Bingo. Yeah, it would be pointless to do 1 when he could send it back in your face. It would only be, or if you've got double red, also in addition to the after casting the chain lightning.
So much patience.
Down to
chain
2.
So dramatic.
And short of spirit linking one of his own guys, he doesn't really have any way to gain life back. Did he actually take mana burn long ago on the turn that he mana drained?
Yes.
No, he had something to play. He played
he played a land tax, but I don't remember him playing something else. Wait, what the hell was that? Now that's the kind of thing, if I was in a tournament and my opponent tapped out to play, well, I guess he just wants to do it anyway. Might as well go to 1. Okay, there we go. So he can destroy his own Serendib Efreet here, I guess.
Serendib Efreet coming down. So now he's got Serendib, King Suleiman, and Tundra Wolves. I'm at 13. He's at 2.
Now you're at 11. I don't understand the point of playing that.
Wow!
The rip. And just like that, Chad, in his 22nd tournament ever, in the format that he invented alongside some friends, what now, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Almost.
It was a long time coming. No one has tried harder. No one has worked harder. No one has ground more hours of this format, both playing, testing, and promoting it, than the Chadster. Congratulations on your first victory. Well done. I'm very glad I got to see that. And done flawlessly. Immaculate play on top of everything else. Well deserved, sir. Good job.
Shout out to Jack Clegg. Shout out, Jack. You're my man. I wouldn't have won this without you, Jack.
I'm so glad you were able to capture that on camera, Chad. Seriously, though, all things aside, you put in more time, more thought, more care, and investment in this format than anyone else, and no one deserves it more. I'm very, very glad to see you triumph in your 22nd tournament. I hope it is the first of many. Every time you make a mistake, it's an opportunity to reprogram the magic algorithm and get better. Just don't forget that it feels bad to get laughed at sometimes. And certainly the humiliating burn of your ears turning red when you make a mistake like that and run a 1-1 ape into a first striker. We've all been there. Guys, it was such a pleasure to sit on this event. Thank you so much for inviting me to do the commentary. Same to you, John. Always a pleasure. And I look forward to reconvening for commentary at another date. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian. Super great. Best video we've done, I think.
Thank you, John. Brian, for joining us. And with that, we will conclude for Horsemen tournament number 22 finals in person. Chadster finally won.
Hoist the trophy.
Hoist, baby, hoist.
All right. Take care, guys. I'll see you.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Take care.
Good night.